Hello. I am reading The Red Mountain, a novel, chapter by chapter, and then reviewing it. So if you are reading this book and you're not wanting to know what's happening, please stop watching the video now because this is a spoiler. It's my sitting bucket. Okay, so I know it's been a minute and I apologize for that because we have been busy doing this or that or we had some really bad storms and I don't know, I just got busy and I haven't been able to keep up with the reading, so I do apologize about that. And today I read 2 chapters in Red Mountain, chapter 17 and chapter 18, and unfortunately I forgot to hit the record button for me reading, so I completely didn't get any of that on video, but I will review the chapters for you now. Okay, so I really don't know if Fabio could get more dirt on him if he tried right now. He is super, super dirty. Dream is pretty bad too. Catalina and Tag are the cleanest out of everybody. Okay, so chapter 17, the title was Who Else Knows? And it was about Amelia breaking up with Tex. They were breaking up because he beat up Jasper. I have a terrible habit of slouching. He beat up Jasper, and Jasper is the piano playing boy who is playing with her father, and her father is the famous band player. So the chapter starts off that they are meeting at school where Tex is on suspended for a week for beating up Jasper, and he starts it off with what's up because she's been ignoring his calls, and then she said she wanted to talk to him, and so she went and got in the truck and he said, what's up? And so she said that, basically, why'd you beat up Jasper? And he said that Jasper was challenging him, and so she said that was ridiculous. You're half his size, you're the high school football player, and for you to try to say that he's the one that caused this, don't be a victim, you're definitely not the victim. And so he said that he just got pissed off by him, so that's why he beat him up, because he had to show up, in front of all his friends. And she told him that her dad was pissed off at him as well, and that if he did anything like that again, her dad would come after him. And then after saying that, then she says that we're over and things haven't been good for a while, so I don't think we should continue seeing each other. And at that, of course, he is surprised and was like, I didn't expect this. What is this about? What was wrong with you a week ago? And she said that it was nothing. And then he asked if it had anything to do with her and Mr. Messing, which is the Massing, which is the teacher that she made out with. And of course, she said that it had nothing to do with that. And why would you say that? And he said that because you were in his office all the time, and the day that you got upset, you came out of his office being upset. And she said that had nothing to do with anything, and that she was only in his office all the time because she likes writing and he's the writing teacher. And she said that she was sorry, but they couldn't work this out, and got out of his truck and left, and that was the end of that. And then back home, she was enjoying the last days of being able to go swim in the pool, and while she was swimming, she could hear the music that her dad and Jasper were playing together, and it actually made her kind of upset. She was a little bit jealous, and she realized that the reason why she was jealous was because her father's first love was music, and then it would have been his wife and then his children, and that music wasn't just his identity, but it was his religion and his reason for being on the planet. And the reason that it upset her that Jasper was connecting to her father was because it was such a important thing for her father. And so anyway, she knew that there would never be a bond like that between her and her father because she wasn't that good at music. And even though she's tried to sing a couple of times with her dad, it was not the same as what she was hearing with Jasper. And then Jasper came out of the music area and she said, "I'll see you at school." So the next chapter, chapter 18, which I really like the title of, was The Now Girl and the Forever Girl. And it is about Otis, and Otis is the person that started Red Mountain, and the wine in Red Mountain. And it starts off that he is at the doctor's office, and for the first time in his life, he wished the doctor wasn't so forward. So he said normally he appreciated a doctor who didn't beat around the bush, but he thought maybe a little more beating around the bush would have been nicer in this experience, because the doctor wants him to make an appointment to get an MRI that he could possibly have some brain issues, which could be caused from tumors, or that he's having a stroke. And that is why he hasn't been able to taste or smell anything. When he's at the doctor's office, he runs into the lady that his aunt had set him up with, Joan, and they sat in the waiting room and chit-chatted for a while, and he eventually asked her out, and so she said, "Why don't you come to my house tonight at 4?" And he agreed to do that. And so back at home, this part was a little sad, because his wife, he's a widower, and he looked at her urn and told her that he had asked a lady out and he was going to go to her house for dinner, and I think that you would really like her. So it's definitely kind of sad. And he has himself a really good sob, and after he's done crying, he takes a hold of her urn and he goes out to the vineyard, to the very first part of the vineyard that him and his wife started so many years ago, and he scattered her ashes over all of the vineyard and said that now she would be a part of Red Mountain for eternity, and that she would always be his forever girl. So that was kind of sad. And then he cleaned himself up, and his aunt gave him a couple of wolf whistles, and he called her perverted because they were related. And then he went to Joan's house, and she was wearing a very pretty purple and white sundress that he complimented her on. And he also complimented her on her house because it was very, very pretty. The landscaping was done very nice. The house was decorated very tactfully and very nicely. And then he noticed that her house was like on a river, and he noticed that she had some jet skis. So he asked if they were hers, and she said yes, they are. And so she said, do you ride? And he said, not in 1,000 years. And she said that they should go riding on the jet skis later, and he said, I don't have a bathing suit. And she said, then just wear your boxers. And so he turned red, and they drank a bottle of wine, and then complimented each other, learned about each other. She is a widow also, and her husband was an engineer and a entrepreneur, and they bought that house 30 years ago, and her husband made lots of money. And so anyway, they basically complimented each other because they have chemistry. And after drinking the bottle of wine, Otis said, what about those jet skis? And she said, oh, you've decided you want to ride the jet skis? And he said, yes. And she said, but what about a bathing suit? And it says that Otis stood and did something he wouldn't have done the day before. And so he stripped down to his boxers, and he said that he was releasing the coyote inside of him. But this time, instead of hiding under the cover of darkness, he was doing it right there during the day. And she looked at him and said, what a man, what a great man you are. And they went out on the river and swam like children and played on the jet skis, Otis in his underwear and Joan in hers. So that was chapter 18. Chapter 19 is holding hands and stepping into the darkness. So I'm not sure what that one's going to be about, but I will read more, and hopefully I'll be able to read it more consistently as time goes on. And just in case you would like to know, the book has 56 chapters, and I have stopped at chapter 19. So hopefully I'll be more consistent and not leaving you guys completely in the dark. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again next time. Bye!